Good morning, YouTube. Well, we've finally reached that end of the farming season. I have all the water drained and out of the lines. You can see my neighbor has a wheel line going here, and that's the problem. When it's cold at night, it builds ice, and then he'll have to wait till this afternoon to move that. It was only 29 degrees last night, but we have had a little cold spell. We had some nights that were actually into single digits, so you cannot irrigate when it's that cold. Time to shut her down. So anyway, today we're going to go run the tractor, run the disc. I've got to disc that field where we raise the corn, and if I can get that done, then we'll be in good shape for winter. And when spring comes, we'll have the ground will be all mellowed down from the frost, and it'll be full of moisture, and we'll be able to work it and ready to plant. That's my plan. Well, we're finally getting going here, doing a little disc, and the first thing I do is go around, disc around my wheel tracks. This field was planted in straight rows, north to south, but the pivot, of course, rotates in a circle. And so the first thing we do is we go around our pivot tracks, because my pivot tracks have been filled with gravel. We fill them with like a pea gravel, or some places call it squeegee rock. Anyway, I think these have been done twice over 20 years. And anyway, that firms up the wheel track there, so that the tire does not sink into the mud, moist dirt there. So I do not disturb those. I do not plow through the wheel track. So that's what we're doing now. This is our last one to do on the inside track there. Anyway, as soon as I get the trying to, kind of hard for an old fart to multitask there. Yeah, as soon as I do a couple passes on each side of the wheel track, then I will go north and south, the same direction that the corn was planted. Then after that, I will either go the opposite direction or will do circular. It depends on how many times we're going to go over the corn. If we're going to go over three times, I'll usually go three different directions, and it has a leveling effect, plus it chops up the residue. The soil seems to be fairly soft. It's not really hard like corn ground gets some years. So I think we might be able to get by with just two passes. So we might do a north-south, and then we'll come and do a circular. So anyway, that's what I'm planning. I often say, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, we'll finish up doing these wheel tracks, and then we'll start north and south. Well, guys, as you can see, we're going north and south now, and how I do this is when I approach the wheel track, then I'll raise the disc up. If I can, I'll turn my camera around. There we go. Okay, and then we go up over the across the wheel track, and then drop the disc again. So we're making pretty good headway. We're probably, I don't know, we got probably 2.5 hours in here. I'm going to run about another hour, and then I'm going to take some lunch, run up to the house a bit, raise it up. Drop it. But it's doing a pretty good job. It's, I don't know, we're stirring it down a few inches. I don't know, probably 4 or 5 inches, and then as we go over it another direction, another pass, then it'll go a little deeper. Plus, it'll stir it up and chop up the residue. We'll get her all chopped up and loosened up and ready to go through the winter so it can receive some moisture, try to fill up the soil profile, and then the frost as it freezes and then unthaws, it'll loosen up the ground and break it down so it's nice and mellow. Okay, we'll see. Raise it up. Then we drop it. As you can see, I'm not very good at multitasking. As usual, never have been, never will be. Anyway, I think like I said, we'll run for about another hour here, and then we'll maybe head home for some lunch. So we'll talk to you all then. Well, guys, we're going to quit disking for a little while and run up to the house and get some lunch. That's a good thing. And also, I'm excited because it's float time. We're able to take a little float on the one wheel. Really haven't had much time to do that this summer, and then I've also trying to heal my foot up. But as you can see, we've done this much of the field. We've probably done 20%, so that's pretty good. That's just I had an old farmer tell me years ago. He says it's not the hours you put in. It's not the hours you put in, but it's the rounds you make. So I think that there's a little truth to that. So anyway, my foot is continuing to heal, and I feel a little better all the time. It's still not perfect. I don't know if it ever will be, but it's I have less pain and less swelling, and, so that's a good thing. I've been riding been trying to ride the one wheel up to the gym in the mornings when I can make it. And, I'm becoming more relaxed all the time. But it's really something that just takes a little time. I guess you're building muscles, in your feet and your ankles, and then you're also kind of building the nerve connection between your brain and those muscles, so that you can be in control but be relaxed. So a little bit windy today. I hope it's not too noisy on the camera, but anyway, it's one thing that helps the riding the one wheel is if you can try to carve a little bit, relax. Anyway, it's kind of a work in progress. Something I, hope I can keep improving, slowly building those muscles to where I'll be able to ride longer and farther and more relaxed, enjoy it more. So anyway, that's my story. I'm ready to head to the house. I'm getting a little bit hungry. I think we run the tractor for about 3.5 hours. Well, I made it home, guys. Well, as you can see, I told you we had those couple of cold nights, so the maters are gone. Anyway, the last spring we had plans. We were going to build a greenhouse, like a sunroom, and so we got the concrete poured, and I had a guy lined up to erect it, do the erection, because figure I'd be too busy, and so he was going to do it, and then when it come right down time to do it, then he had a buddy who was going to help him, and then he said his buddy got his back operated on. He'd be so many more weeks, and then anyway, he finally come down. He talked to Ellen. He says, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I don't think he wanted to do it. So anyway, we got those cold nights. So and I'd been so busy all year, I didn't have time to do it. So couldn't find anybody else. So we rigged up this makeshift greenhouse. We had some cattle panels there as hoops, and for her pole beans to grow up. And so we just threw a tarp over there, and then we put all of her potted plants in there. And oh my gosh, we just barely got that tarp over there, and we had a thermometer in there, and that darn thing went up to like 110 degrees, just immediate, So we basically we got the plants in there, and then I run a cord out there with a couple of heat lamps, and it was getting down to 40 at night, and then the day we'd have to open it up. So, but then I finally got time. I had a couple of days, and thank God for my son Chris. He helped me. You can see here's the little sunroom greenhouse there, and I'll take you inside there, let you take a peek. Anyway, it's a kit from Ryan is the brand. I actually bought it at Home Depot, and the darn thing is actually made in Israel, but it's all PVC with the polycarbonate, and but man, talk about a nightmare. I'll turn those fans off for just a second. Talking about a nightmare. The directions were, all they had was just a picture or two. And anyway, you can see these bows here. There's actually a steel strap iron, like about some 2.5 inch strap or an 1/8 inch, and then you would have to put it through your connections here, and then there was a bolt to bolt the two together, and then you'd put the plastic on, and then it would fit down in here. So there's steel all the way down here, and then all the way to the floor. So anyway, we got it going, and you can see we got the plants in here. This one right here, let's see, was this one? I think this one here is kind of favorite for me. It's a chocolate mint. Tastes pretty good. So anyway, then we put water barrels, at least filled with water, so that'll work like a heat sink, hold the heat there, and and it has windows. But as soon as the morning sun hits her, turn these fans back on, within the morning sun hits here, and like within just a few minutes, it heats right up to 110, 120, and that's way too hot for greenhouse. So you can see we're See, we're pegged out on the 120 there. Now I don't know how accurate that is, but I know we're hot. We're 100 degrees. So anyway, my plan is to like before I could erect the greenhouse, I had to. This metal building, you know, has the corrugated metal, and so I had to put some studs on there, shim it out, everything, so I could get a plumb surface. And then we actually put insulation behind here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up in this wall here, and I'm going to install a couple of exhaust fans. I'm going to put them on a thermostat so that they'll kick on, like say when it hits, as soon as it hits 80, they'll kick on, and it'll exhaust that heat into my shed. And I think that's going to be wonderful because that'll heat my motorcycle shed. Maybe I can fix some motorcycles and get ready to go ride the motorcycle. Wouldn't that be something? I haven't done that for 6 months. So anyway, that's a my story. And so I'm going to go get some lunch and then see if I can hit that tractor again and get that done. But I don't know what these are. She's got a bunch of mint. I guess these are mums, whatever. She's got a cabbage over there, and then she has the trays set up here. She's going to start. Let's see. I think some radishes, spinach, chard. I'm not sure about chard. Kale, lettuce, and I think be able to grow those all winter long. And then this is just a little experiment. I think that one's a tomatillo, and then I think these are peppers that she trimmed back, and she wants to see if they'll grow, you know, through the winter. Anyway, time will tell. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to y'all later. This is Dr. Dual Sport signing out.